Hi Year 3, just a little bit of help on your lesson with describing the labyrinth. So in the middle of this slide here, you can see there's a maze, also known as a labyrinth, okay? And in your story that you've got that's gone home in your pack this week, Theseus and the Minotaur, there's also some really lovely illustrations of the labyrinth, the maze in there as well. So you could use those as well to give you some ideas. Okay, so your lesson today is to create some really effective sentences that describe that labyrinth, that maze in your story. So in your pack, you've got this sheet first, which shows you the possible nouns, the possible things that you might want to mention that are there in your labyrinth. So we've got words like the corners, the roof, the pathways, corridors, which is another word for a pathway. Passage, again, all of those three words mean something similar. Stone and walls. And there are 4 gaps that if you've got any ideas of your own as well, you might want to write them in your sheet. On your next sheet, you've got then some suggestions of describing words, of adjectives that you might use to put together your sentences. So twisting, when something's not going in a straight line, it's twisting and turning, it's got corners. Uneven, so when something's not smooth, it might feel rough or bumpy. You might trip up on it, or the walls might feel uneven and rough to touch. Echoing, that's when, obviously, if you're in an empty labyrinth and there's lots of walls around, if you were to shout or even whisper, you'd hear your own voice come back. So that word echoing would describe that. Winding, I know it looks like the word winding, that doesn't it? But it's pronounced as winding, which basically means that these paths go round and round and round. Okay, so that's what happens when something's winding. Dimly lit, another really nice word that means dark, really, doesn't it? There's not much light in there. Narrow, these pathways will be really narrow, so you might want to use those words as well in your description. And again, there are some spaces there if you can think of any other different adjectives that you'd like to use in your writing. Finally, on the last sheet, there are some prepositional phrases. We've done loads of work over the last couple of weeks on prepositions. Prepositions are parts of the sentence that tell you where something is in relation to something else. So examples are just around the corner, on the cobweb walls, beside the rough pathway, at the very centre, along a shadowy passage, and then words like below, in, over, above, next to, all the ones that we've done in our packs as well over the last couple of weeks, you could use as well. So when you've had a good look at those, I want you to pick your favourites. So for example, I might pick that I'm going to write a sentence about the corridors. Okay, so that would be the noun that I would pick. So now I'm looking for a really good describing word for that word for the corridors. So I'm looking at maybe dimly lit. So far in my head, I've got dimly lit and corridors. Then I'm going to pick a prepositional phrase. So maybe at the very centre might be one to use. So I would put my sentence together then at the very centre of the dimly lit pathway, for example. So picking those 3 choices and putting them together and then putting an ending on my sentence, perhaps at the centre of the dimly lit pathway, I felt terrified. So you just need to put an ending on your sentence so it makes sense. Don't forget full stops, capital letters, and one choice from each slide to start your sentence and then finish it off in an effective way. Okay, have a good go. Put anything that you want us to have a look at on Seesaw, and we can give you a nice response and let you know some alternative ideas and feedback on your sentences. Enjoy your day. Bye.